Hello, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. I'm going to do a deep dive today into a couple of questions. One is from Charles, and the other one is from Larry. So these are a couple of listeners to the podcast. I'm going to start with Charles, which is going to ask, he's kind of starting out again. He's been in practice for a number of years. He's at $600,000 a year, wants to get to the $1 million mark. He is kind of like the idea of the urgent care focus, which is something that I talk about, which is kind of modeling your practice after urgent care, meaning making same-day appointments, things like that, advertising that, and even kind of linking up with some urgent cares to help with getting that. He had a couple of questions about some websites. So I really like Jim McDonald with Podiatry Growth. So he had to make some really nice websites. I know him personally. He's just a stand-up guy. He's got a good podcast if you want to look at it. It's called Podiatry Marketing. Imagine that, Podiatry Marketing. And I was actually a guest. So if you look back a couple of podcast episodes, you'll find a guest appearance that I did on their one of their special episodes. Another one I like is Podiatry Content Connect. They do a good job with weekly blogs, and they have a kind of a nice, easy website that they can make. So kind of that's a less expensive one. I'm not sure exactly on prices for those. We use Kajabi, which is one that I made. I wouldn't recommend doing what I did. I just kind of like to mess around with things. He had a couple of questions about, in terms of ModMed, if I would recommend it. I use ModMed currently. Once again, I do not get paid by any of these companies. I used to be in Athena, moved to ModMed only because it saved me some money. We use billing for both of them. We use the Athena biller. We use the ModMed billers now. We have one billing person that does most of the stuff. And basically when I make mistakes, they get sent to her and then she gets mad at me. So it has a little scrubber inside of ModMed, which works well. There was a question also that Charles had about checking with insurance. Now, I have to kind of apologetically admit our ModMed allows us to see what their deductibles are, but we do not check DME. We just kind of do DME and just tell them it might get thrown towards the deductible for them. So that's kind of what we do, and we use our own kind of biller inside. But I don't really have any other insurance tips for checking on DME. Okay, so that's the first part here. The second part is going to be a deep dive because my friend Larry asked me a question. He said, Don, I'm thinking about using your treatment sheets, but I'm not really sure how to start. He asked me a lot of questions about if I actually print them out, if I show them on the screen, if the patient gives them to the checkout staff. A lot of these kind of logistical things for treatment sheets. So if you haven't heard of a treatment sheet, I'm going to kind of refresh your memory to start, tell you where you can get those. So once again, if you go to Podiatry Practice Mastery, there is a free $1 million practice formula, and kind of inside that course, you can get access to the treatment sheets. If you just want to see the ones that I use, you can shoot me an email as well if that's easier. It's don@podiatrypracticemastery.com. I'm always helpful. I'll send you a link. You can tell me kind of which one you want to see, and I'll send it to you. I'd be happy to do that. Okay, so don@podiatrypracticemastery.com. So in terms of, let's talk about the two most common ones that I use: plantar fasciitis and nail fungus. So typically, when a patient comes in for nail fungus, the first visit I take a little nail sample, then I'll say I'll see you back in three weeks, and I go over the nail sample with them. And then when they come back in 3 weeks, what I do is I have my scribe look at the results. He kind of whispers in my ear and says, yes, there's nail fungus. I go into the treatment room, and I do it two different ways. So in my Westboro office, we don't have places to store all of the treatment sheets. So I have one folder with the most common treatment sheets that I use. Now, if you look on my treatment sheets, if you look in the Google Drive, there's 20 of them. Now, how many do I really use? The most common ones, which are probably the most common diagnoses that I see, are Achilles tendinitis, plantar fasciitis, forefoot pain, which is metatarsalgia, neuroma, plantar plate tear, nail fungus, neuroma, Sievers. So each of these has a treatment sheet. Now, in my Westboro office, I print out a couple of copies of each, and I put them in there. And then when the patient comes in, I will pull the treatment sheet, and I'll show you, and I kind of flip it around so they can see it on a clipboard. In my Worcester office, I have them printed because one of my staff took the initiative to print all them out. The problem is she printed so darn many copies, and she printed them a little bit wrong, and it kind of annoys me every time I use them. And so I'm just kind of venting here, but I usually like little check boxes, the little square boxes, so I can check it. Hers somehow got little dots on it instead of the squares, so made it a little bit more challenging to use them. But she put them all in folders, and I look in the folder, and they're there. Now, the problem with treatment sheets, the way I do them, is that I'm always changing the way I treat. So you look at my treatment sheets, and now with this new Google Doc, if you know Google Docs, or that's where I store them, there's new versions you can have. So you can have like tabs with version 1, version 2, version 3. And so I'm always making up new versions. And so if she prints out the old version, there's not the new version. So I like the Westboro, which you would take a file, put all of them in there, or at least the top 5 that you do. And the other ones that are kind of random, like Seavers, for example, I don't see a ton of that. I just print it off. So I'm on my computer. And so in my computer, on the top bar in Google, my Google Chrome, I have a folder saved there, the Google Drive folder. And I go into it, and I just click print. Now, I can access this from any of my 6 treatment rooms in either office. Why? Because in every treatment room, I'm logged in my Google account. So I have to go around and log in, do 2-point verification for all 12 computers, but then I'm logged in once and for all. And unless I change my Google password, I'm automatically logged into all of them. So if I'm in a treatment room, I can just go maneuver to the folder, find the right one, print it, and my staff will give it to me. But for the most part, the most common ones are already pre-printed. So I got the pre-printed one. I go into the treatment room with the patient. I get a clipboard, or I sometimes even use the manila folder where they're all stored. Flip it around, and I present it to the patient. But let me explain the way I do the presentation. So I don't start with that, okay? I start with, talking to the patient, getting the HPI, kind of what they've tried, the previous treatments. I review the x-rays. I watch their gait analysis. I go over and I explain what they have, sometimes with a foot model, sometimes with a picture, sometimes with my patient presentation, which is like a little Google slide presentation with a couple of pictures. Then after I do all that, I go into the treatment sheet. So you can either use what I call the treatment sheet, just that one piece of paper, or you can there's something else I have, which is actually called, which is something else I put in the presentation. So in the PowerPoint, I have a presentation, but I don't like using that one because it confuses patients. So I put it all in this paper. And so there's 2 types of treatment sheets, not to get anyone confused. The version 1 is where I have little square check boxes, and I just check off the boxes. And then in a couple of my treatment sheets, I've had a new one where I put phase 1 and phase 2. I'm not really liking the way the phase 1, phase 2 is working, so I would stick with the check boxes. So I'm going to talk about the check box one. So you have the check box, and what you do is I would go through. So I'm thinking about it in my head right here, what it would say. So on the let's talk about the nail fungus one. On the nail fungus one, it would say, okay, so you can see here we took a nail sample the first visit. We're seeing you back here today, and you have 2 options here. You can either do an oral antifungal, or you can do laser treatment. And then I'll ask them if they have any questions. If they want to really get rid of it, I'll do the oral, and I'll check off the oral, and I'll write down the name terbinafine. So I'll actually handwrite it, terbinafine, and I'll say, we're going to start with terbinafine, and we're going to get a blood test and LFT. And so on the LFT order, I actually have the 2 labs that I use mostly, so they're written on there, so I check the right one and circle it so they know where to go. And then what I do is I say that you're also going to do some biotin or some Theranil for the next 2 months. So I check that box. And then I have a 3-month follow-up. So at that 3-month follow-up, I'll write there, either we'll continue the course, or we'll do more terbinafine because I feel like it takes more than 3 months, or we'll switch it. And I'll tell them verbally, we might do diflucan, or we might do Sporanox, depending on how you're recovering. If I'm not seeing improvement, I'll do one of those other 2. And then underneath there, it has laser. And so if I'm doing oral, I'll say, and by the way, laser is about $1,500, not covered by insurance. So I do that it's called, I do it to kind of set an anchor at a high price, like $1,500. They think, wow, I'm glad I don't have to pay $1,500, or wow, that's expensive. And then I do that, and I say, and also just, your nails are going to take about 1 millimeter a month, and this is all written on the treatment sheet. Take 1 millimeter a month to grow. And then we have certain things that you're going to do to help it not come back. And then I talk about, how, we don't have a lot of fingernail fungus. We have a lot of toenail fungus because they live in a warm, moist environment in the shoes. And then I say, okay, and what I recommend, or so I learned this from someone else. I always say the word need now. So what you need to do, instead of what I recommend, what you need to do is you need to use a UV light once a month. You need to use a shoe spray once a week. And then once a day it has there, you're going to change your socks, switch your shoes, and things like that. So all of that is, and I'm checking these boxes. And I say, all of this, the Theranail for the first 3 months, the UV light, and the shoe spray is all about $200. And we have it here for your convenience if you want. So that's how I do the nail fungus treatment sheet. And then actually my friend Larry, who asked me to do this, he said, hey, Don, do you have them give this to your staff? And I didn't even think about that, but I actually think that's going to be easier. I'm going to start having them just show the staff so the staff knows what to do if my scribe doesn't get things in there in time. But that's what I do for nail fungus. The other most common one that I do is let's say Achilles tendinitis or plantar fasciitis. And in that one, the first thing on the sheet is going to be, on the old version, is going to be shockwave. Or I say like what you do before you come into the visit. So it has like most people will do this before they come in the visit. They try stretching, new shoes, inserts, anti-inflammatories, icing, things like that. And then it goes into, it has shockwave number 1. So even though I don't do shockwave, I always preface it with, most of my patients do shockwave. It works great, but I don't think we need it yet. We're going to try some of the basics first. And so I'm prefacing it as like, this is what most people do, because it's true. That's what they do. And I skip on to that. And then I go into, I usually do like an anti-inflammatory. It's sort of like a meloxicam is the one I like, or Celebrex. If I can't do any of that, then I do one of the EBM products. Then I'll do contrast baths. And one of the reasons for doing the prescription is because it can usually bump my office visit up a little bit because it's prescription medication management. Then I do my Pelto special, which is I talk about my night splint, my foam rolling, and my morning stretch, and I check those little boxes. And then I say my staff's going to go over that because then they go over that with them and get them all that stuff and prescribe and dispense it. And then the last part is kind of about shoes, where I talk about orthotics, inserts, UFOs, and other types of things like that. And then on the other side of the page, you'll see it talks about ultrasound. And I say, we're not going to start with ultrasound today. We're going to try these things for 3 weeks. And when I see you back in 3 weeks, if it's still hurting, we'll do an ultrasound. So I'm preparing them for ultrasound. I'm preparing them for shockwave. And then what I do is on there, it also has like surgery, physical therapy, cortisone injections. And I actually take those and I physically check those off, meaning I cross them out saying, and you don't need surgery, you don't need physical therapy, you don't need a cortisone injection. So patients like that. Patients like to be guided of what they do and what they don't want. And even sometimes what I do is I check off those things they don't need first, and then I'll check the things that they do need. Okay, and I find the more I do this, the more I'm more specific on when I want people to do things. So, for example, foam roller, I'll say, I want you to do this twice a day for 3 minutes, and I say do it after you make your coffee in the morning, and then before you brush your teeth at night, or after you brush your teeth at night. So those are the 2 times. Night splint, I'll say or the rest splint or night splint, you can either wear it before you go to bed at night for the 3 hours when you're watching TV, or for the first 3 hours when you're in bed. So I think guiding people in doing this, but I use these treatment sheets. Now, I don't use them multiple times. So normally I'm doing the treatment sheets just once. But for like plantar fasciitis, I'm doing it the first visit. For nail fungus, I'm actually doing it the second visit. The first one, I don't even introduce the treatment sheet. Okay? And really this initial icing, anti-inflammatory, stretching, shoe change thing is for most musculoskeletal things, like for neuromas, metatarsalgia, all these other things. And I don't usually start with shockwave unless they've tried all those other things first. Okay? So that is the way I use my treatment sheets. I see someone's in for plantar fasciitis. I have my staff gives me the treatment sheets. They usually put them in the room, put them on a clipboard. I do my initial exam, and then I pull it out after I show them some pictures, and I go through it, and then I give them that. And then also on this treatment sheet, just so you'll see, is there going to be a QR code to a page on my website. So some people want to learn more. And so on there, it goes to a treatment, like on my treatment process. Like on there, I have everything written out on how I treat things for all the conditions. Now, some people might think, hey, you're giving too many things away to patients. They're going to, I don't know, treat themselves. But, I'm not worried about that. I think the more information we have out there, the more that we can help patients, the better. So anyway, hope you guys found this beneficial. That's exactly how I use the treatment sheets, and I use them every single day. I used to just use the presentations, but then I found overwhelmed patients. I find these treatment sheets works a lot better. I talked a little bit before about like good, better, best options. I don't really do that anymore. I usually do like phase 1 and phase 2. That's what works best for me. Like phase 1 are the initial things, or like the nail sample or initial things, and then phase 2 are the more advanced things. So it's usually by about phase 2, I'm like, or the second visit, I usually know what I'm doing, and I don't, they're not usually 3, 4, 5 unless I'm doing shockwave or something else like that. Okay. Once again, if you guys found this beneficial, please let me know. Shoot me an email down at Podiatry Practice Mastery. If after you listen to this, you're like, hey, I want a couple of these treatment sheets, shoot me an email. I would be happy to send that over to you, or you can get all this at the website, Podiatry Practice Mastery, get the free $1 million practice blueprint. Okay, until tomorrow, thanks.